everybody to this final session of this conference, and thank you to everyone for your participation at every level, not just those that have been up here on the stage and given presentations and other comments on the floor, but every conversation that's been had in the past couple of days has been really important, played an important part. All the discussion is really good. So thank you very much for everyone for still being here 2 days in and still interested. Later in this session, we're going to be asking our fantastic moderators across the past couple of days, all who are experts in their own fields, to give us some of their reflections on what we've heard from their panel events, and if there are any conclusions or suggestions that we should be taking forward. We talked about that roadmap, and that is still live, and we're going to try and work towards that a little bit in this session as well. But first, let's meet our final, but certainly not the least of our panelists, and I'm delighted to introduce you to them now. Across the past 2 days, we've been hearing about the impact of this horrible war on Sudan's younger generations, and clearly the future of Sudan, whatever form that takes, will be in their hands. So with that in mind, let's meet our panelists today. We have representatives from the Sudanese Youth Network. Raise your hands. Okay. So we have Shona El-Rashid, we have Ali Osman Abdallah Abdelkadir, we have Naguib Dawood Abdulmulla Abdallah, and on the end there we have Sarah Ali, who's the project coordinator for the Mixed Migration Centre. Welcome, all of you. So let's start with you first of all. And when we go back 600 days to the outbreak of war, the shock of the conflict breaking out, we're now about to enter its second year. How have the communities you've been working with adapted to cope with that and the fact that this conflict is ongoing?
So full disclosure,
if you hold just here, make sure it's on.
Yeah, can you hear me? Full disclosure, the points I'm going to mention are reflections from the ground, but they're not from MOC. They're not directly from the work, so don't come after our data. So for the changes in the second year, for the first year, I want to say that everyone's priorities were physical safety. So people were trying to escape the conflict, and they were worried about their lives. But as we're entering the second year, the priorities have shifted for some of the communities. For some people, they have managed to flee Sudan, and for these specific communities, now the priorities have shifted to first of all issues around asylum and legal status. So this is the first priority. The second priority is also around the constant fear of changing policies in the host countries. So this is the second priority. And one thing I want to say is that displacement deprives you from your sense of agency in a way when it comes to decision making and to motivations, to movement intentions. There are a lot of cultural and socio-economic dynamics that play a role in the decision making for people. So with Egypt and the GCC countries being the preferred destinations for the urban elites, but for those with less financial capacities, they have less options to select for their destinations. And with displacement, with displacement from their land, often impacting them in much more ways and also to a higher extent. The next trend I'm also observing is people, this was mentioned before, but people are returning to Sudan. I was in Egypt last week and I heard a story from this woman. I'm going to be brief. But the woman said that she wants to go back to Sudan. And when I asked her about how she's going to deal with the situation there, she told me that she wants to go back, even if she had to hunt birds and feed them for her daughter. So this is a very strong message that people are returning to Sudan because, first of all, they're running out of financial capacities, housing specifically. So they're getting kicked out of houses, they cannot afford rent prices. So this is why a lot of people are going back to Sudan. The other concerning trends is also around people going back to Sudan, but also to sell their assets. And this is very indicative that people are, even though the economy has shifted, but some people are still buying assets. Also very important, last point.
That's okay, I'm just encouraging you to hold it here. So
okay. Can you hear me now? Oh.
See, it makes a difference.
Yeah. So there's also a secondary movement around working age adults. And this, of course, leads to family separations and just splitting in communities. This is also very obvious. And my last point is about a very distinct group that goes back to Sudan to conduct businesses. And these people have the means to conduct businesses in Sudan. But we're also dealing with war economy, which means that people are also have to deal with exploitative practices. So, for example, just getting cash for remittances, we exchange it for a very high price, and also selling of assets for an extremely lower prices.
Just briefly to jump in. You talked about lots of people wanting to go back to Sudan, which I'm sure people can understand for many reasons, but not all of them seem to be, positive in terms of what you're saying. In terms of the kind of adjustment to a new culture, new societies, what are some of the concerns that your fellows have felt with that, having to adopt and adapt to new communities when they have moved to host countries?
First of all, I want to say that a lot of people are dealing with mental illnesses, and this is in addition to the economic crisis that's happening. We're all grieving the loss of lives. We're all grieving the separation from our families, from our friends. This, in addition to cultural differences, the team here will delve into that more. But the language issues, it's not easy to go to a place where you don't speak the language, and you have to go on about your day, going to the hospital, trying to find a job, trying to find opportunities. This is also a big one, but also access to opportunities in general.
Shema, maybe you can pick up on that point and the work of the Sudanese Youth Network. What kind of work have you been doing, and where are you guys based? Maybe you can take over this.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for the audience. I would like to give a very brief introduction about the Sudanese Youth Network. We have a very full, very long name, Sudanese Youth Network for Ending the War and Establishing a Democratic Civil Transformation, but the short name is SYN. A background about the network. The network is a youth-led initiative that began in October 2023 in Kampala last year. SYN is organized by Sudanese youth, men and women, who wanted to create a platform specifically for youth, so they can organize themselves and contribute to the efforts to end the war as one of the short-term goals of the network. Now we have 7 active chapters in 7 different countries. We are present in Sudan, in different 7 states. We have a chapter in Uganda, chapter in Kenya, one in Ethiopia, Chad, in Agri camp, one in South Sudan, and one in Egypt. In Sudan, we have 7 different offices, 3 in the east of Sudan, that's mean one office in Kassala State, Gadaref State, Port Sudan State, and also we have one office in the Jazeera State, North Kordofan, and East Darfur State. Members in this network are from really very different and various backgrounds, diverse economic and social, political and cultural backgrounds. We have human rights activists, we have journalists, we have people from media sector, human rights who are working on human rights violation documentation. We have some freelancer consultants who are working in project management. We have lawyers, and also we have some youth from very different political backgrounds, political parties, and we even have youth from armed groups in Sudan. And we think that this is one of the strength points in the network, that we have a very diverse group of youth who are members of the network. So the network itself is not politically aligned with any political party or school of thought, but it aims to unite youth agenda, youth principles, and aim to unite youth all over Sudan, those who cross borders to the regional countries and in the region. Also youth from different bodies and civil society organizations in Sudan. All of them share one visual message and want to work on one goal to achieve that, and all efforts to end the war and then establish a civil democratic transformation as one of the long-term goals of the network.
Fantastic, and that sounds really comprehensive and fascinating that so many different people are involved, and that's kind of key to making it work as well. Nadine, maybe we can come to you if you want to grab your microphone so we can all hear you. I mean, just tell us a little bit about some of the experiences, maybe your own if you feel comfortable talking about it, or some of your fellows who have also been displaced. What have some of the challenges been for people like you, young people?
Okay, so thank you for hosting us, and thank you for your time all, guys. Actually, when we talk the experience of displacement in Sudan, you talk about long term of suffering, long term of fighting for life, especially for Sudanese youth. And for myself, I start my experience as displaced when I was 18.
18.
18. Sorry,
Yeah.
when I was 20, really.
20.
Yeah, I finished my first school and secondary school at displaced camps at Darfur, South Darfur, called Gereda displaced camps. And after that, for Khartoum and Khartoum War, and I displaced to Kassala. Right now, I displaced to Nairobi. For this journey of this displacement, they, Sudanese youth, they face it. They experience many problems, many challenges, starting from losing the first one. You don't feel safe, you don't see all, even from hunger, even you don't feel safe because you don't feel your family is safe. Even you are in the safe place, right, Sudanese outside of Sudan, like Nairobi here, you can feel you have some safety for yourself, but you holding,
worried about your families.
Worried about your family, about your friends, and what they're doing. Especially, there's no network in Sudan. Also, I see specifically the issue of the lack of internet of Sudan is facing many problems for Sudanese youth, especially for those who didn't finish their study and they try to find some scholarship to study abroad or online from home. But also this is the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
As you know, Sudan, there's a cut of short learning began from COVID-19 and continue until today. So this is the concern about the future of youth of Sudan. And in addition to that, and also there is lack of economic opportunities, especially unemployment of youth. There is no employment opportunity, even in Sudan, outside of Sudan. And in this time, also, Sudanese youth are holding the they spending for their families. There's many responsibilities or additional responsibility for them. So,
So, I mean, that's a long list of worries and stresses on top of the trauma of actually having to leave your homes. If you just hold it right here, and if you move your head, if you follow the mic with it, there's a little tip so everyone can hear you at the back.
Maybe,
yeah, I mean, just kind of be more rapper about it, you know. So you were saying about the safety in the camps, and we've heard from women about the specific issues facing women. As young men, has that been a worry for you, and what has been the worry for you in that?
For me, as a young man, first of all, as I said, the security. You have to feel lives, first of all. This is the first priority. And the challenge of the other things is that challenge related to the impact, psychological impact.
Psychological
the
impact.
Impact of the war of the mental health.
Yeah.
And the social impact also. This is caused it, I think trauma, I think all Sudanese youth living in trauma and live the trauma. Some else, they get the opportunity to get out of the situation of trauma. And there's many thousands of them, especially in Sudan, they live in this situation. And also, the biggest thing, losing hope. Losing hope for Sudanese youth. This is also
losing what? Sorry, that wasn't clear.
Losing hope of the future.
Losing hope.
Because they lost their family, lost their home, lost their work,
education.
Lost their education.
Right.
And there is no any indicators the war where they stop and where they stop. So this is also causing many problems for youth decision.
Yeah, it just sounds very stressful indeed. Ali, do you want to activate your microphone and hold it nice and close so we can hear? Do you want to tell us about some of your experiences and people that you know, some of the issues for young people being displaced?
Hello everyone. I speak for Arabic because my English is very bad. Shima can help me for translate. Sorry for that. Okay. في موضوع خبرة الزول في موضوع إنه هو طلع من الحرب وفات دولة آمنة بتختلف من شعب لشعب تاني أو شعب لشعب تاني لظروف الحتة اللي هو طلع منها وظروف المنطقة ذاتها وهو شخصيا من وين وقاعد وين، لأنه السودان فيه تعقيدات كبيرة جدا. أنا أحكي عن تجربتي وتختلف زي ما قلت عن تجارب باقي الشباب كلهم.
He said that the displacement experience is really differs from one person to another person, and it's when you escape war area or conflict zone to another safe country, it differs when you move to another when you displace to the same location, maybe where there is still war or conflict. So he said the experiences are really different, and for him and for the people he know, but he will start with his experience.
اوكي الحرب كانت بدت في 15 ابريل. انا كنت في مدرمان، ما في الحته اللي كنت عايش فيها. انا كنت ساكن في الخرطوم في الطائف. الحرب كانت جاء، انا كنت في مدرمان. ما كان بقدر انه اطلع امشي البيت عشان اشيل حاجاتي واطلع وكده. كان الكباري مقفله، الطيران بيضرب، الذخيره شغاله. فبعد فتره، بعد 20 يوم من الحرب، كان في هدنه اتعملت. الهدنه دي كان لقيت طريقه انه اطلع، لكن ما قدرت امشي البيت عشان اشيل حاجاتي، جواز السفر، اشيل باقي المقتنيات بتاعتي عشان اسافر. كنت داير امشي مدني، فمشيت مدني بحاجات بسيطه جدا.
Okay. So he said when the war started on 15th of April, he was in Omdurman, but he lives originally in Khartoum. So he was locked in Omdurman. He was not able to go back home to collect his personal items, the valuable one, his documents, passport and everything. And at that time, very soon after the war started, there was a ceasefire. He was able to go out from Omdurman, but he was not able to go back home Khartoum to collect his personal items. So he decided to head to Wad Madani, which is the capital of Al Jazeera state.
في ود مدني قعدت فترة قرابة 5 أو 6 شهور عشان أرتب أموري لأنه كان واضح إنه الحرب دي ما هتقيف. فبعد 5 شهور طلعت أبري يوبا مشيت كامبالا.
So he stayed in Wad Madani in Al Jazeera state for almost 5 months, and it was very clear that the war would not end soon. So he decided to travel to Kampala through Juba.
اوكي في السفرة بتاعتي من ود مدني لحد ما وصلت كامبالا استغرقت زمن طويل بكون زي أسبوعين. في طوال الشارع ده سواء كان في السودان أو وأنت طالع من السودان ماشي على جوبا كان في تحديات كبيرة جدا، منها إنه التعامل معك على حسب القوة اللي لقيتها. لو لقيت الدعم السريع بيتعامل معك بطريقة، لو لقيت الجيش بيتعامل معك بطريقة على حسب انت المنطقة الجاي منها وخلفيتك الإثنية والجغرافي وكده.
So he said that his displacement journey took almost 2 weeks, and during that journey on the road, there were many challenges, and also challenges differ. It depends on what security checkpoint you find. If it's SAF control area or RSF controlled area, they deal with you differently. It depends from where are you originally from, what is your ethnic group. This is the base they rely on to deal with you, whether it was SAF or RSF.
بالتأكيد كل الشباب والشابات الطلبوا من السودان وفاتوا دول تانية واجهوا مشاكل كثيرة جدا، وأي زول بيكون مشاكله مختلفة، لكن في النهاية المشاكل دي هي كلها إنه الناس بتفقد فيها ممكن مقتنيات، قروش، لابتوبات، ممكن تفقد فيها كرامتك، بيتم إهانتك، بيتعاملوا معك بعنصرية. فدي كلها مشاكل بتواجه الشباب وهم طالعين من السودان يعني.
So he said more or less the challenges that Sudanese youth face during their displacement journey are the same. They lost their valuable items, they lost their documents, they lost their money, and also during that journey you can get exposed to discrimination, to violence, yes, from either parties.
Ali, thank you. That's very important to remind us of those things, and the fact that it is one thing after another, the accumulative effect, I think is something that you can't say too often in this conflict. Shema, you were talking about the network and the way that you've grouped together, and I just wonder, I was struck by the fact that you said that there are people from all over Sudan, which, as we know, is a very diverse country, many different provinces and so on. And the fact that people have different persuasions. Is there anything in what you're doing with the network that can be picked up by other organizations in terms of the future for your country?
Okay, I don't want to mention any INGOs that are supporting us because I don't want to forget anyone, but there are a lot of INGOs supporting the network since the establishment and the founding conference in Entebbe that was in March March this year. So one of the main donors is MBA, Norwegian People Aid. This is one of the main donors of the network. They are funding all chapters of the network. So as I mentioned that there are short-term goal, medium-term goal, and also long-term goal. So one of our long-term goals is to build the capacity of the youth So they are capable when it's the time when the war ends and then we have a transitional period, transitional government, youth should be represented in that stage. And we don't want the war to end and then we start building the capacity of the youth and looking for what opportunities that youth can get at that time. We want to be prepared. We want this to happen now. So we are building the capacity of the youth in different topics like advocacy, like negotiation, mediation, because we think the participation of youth in the political process that is ongoing now is very essential. They can be very influential and playing very positive role in mediation role, in negotiation process. We saw that civilians generally were not presented very well in all political process and talks. Starting from Jeddah talks, even Geneva talks, there was very weak representation of youth. So we are working on that. We are working to raise awareness among all stakeholders that youth should be represented now, not later, when the war ends and it's only about establishing a government, no. And we don't want to forget that youth were the front line in the Sudanese revolution, and one of their main demands was to have a civil democratic transformation and government where we see all groups represented. We want to see women, we want to see youth, we want to see very diverse and ethnic groups, and all regions of Sudan are represented in that government. And also we do a lot of, because of the security reasons in Sudan, so chapters abroad Sudan have more opportunity to work in those efforts and activities. Because the civic space is very different than the one available in Sudan right now, and also Chad and Egypt also we're still facing limited civic space. But chapters like Nairobi, like Kampala, like Addis to some extent, they have a lot of opportunities to work on that space. We are arranging a lot of media campaigns. So we are very active on media. We have Facebook official accounts on Facebook and Twitter, where we are doing a lot of media campaigns. We had a very successful media campaign about ceasefire that took place directly before Geneva talks, because Geneva talks was focusing on that mandate. So we want everyone to engage and to have part in that campaign. And also we start recently a very new project about consultation with the youth. So the aim of that project is to have the youth agenda from all groups really, have their agenda written, and we have a draft that we can say that we did a consultation of youth, and these are their agenda, so we can push them in the ongoing or the future political process. So we gathered some youth from even RSF, armed group, from people from different aligned with political parties, even NCP was included.
And do they actually take part in discussions actively, or are these just people you're connected with?
No, surprisingly, yes, they took active role in that consultations because we believe that that exclusion or marginalization of any group will not benefit any political process. So the aim was...
That sounds very challenging.
It was
how
challenging.
How do you manage that? Because, I mean, there are people in this room who maybe need some tips on how to do that. Tell us, how are you doing that?
Okay, you mean like reaching out to
having real dialogue and discussing things between people who do not agree with each other. How are you doing it?
Okay, so I guess for our network it wasn't difficult because the network is consisted originally from youth from different backgrounds, so we are not excluding XYZ political party or XYZ ethnic group. So the network itself consists from members from different regions of Sudan, different political parties, different agenda. So we use the members of the network themselves as entry points and access points to those groups. So I guess it's a matter of networking and promoting the work of the youth agenda.
And perseverance and just you know, keeping channels open.
Yeah, exactly. Open communication channels.
Sarah, on that, I don't know if there's anything you want to pick up on what Shema has said there about policy makers, people who are in this room in a position to maybe help youth organizations and the youth, not just those that have left the country, but also those inside, and we know so many are displaced as well.
I think that what Sheima's group is doing is really great. I think people should listen more to Sudanese voices, but also through, this has been mentioned a lot during this session, through localization. This is specific to programs. So through localization, through supporting the networks that are on the ground, but also the networks that has been displaced outside of the country. This is the first recommendation. Also, in terms of policies, I think also the inclusion of the different groups in the conversation, as Shema mentioned, but the true, genuine representation, because I feel like there is a representation, but sometimes it feels not genuine enough. So I feel like it could be done through, people talk a lot about capacity building, but I think sometimes we try to repeat the same work and to do the same system, to conduct the same systems again. But there are some systems that have been proven to not work or to not function. So also being open to innovative ideas and to new ways of thinking.
Thank you. Negim, let's come back to you, because you said that there was a despair amongst Sudanese youth, a lack of hope. Is there anything that you've heard across the conference the past couple of days that has brought you any hope, or what would give you hope? What could people do to help the youth have more hope for the future?
Okay. Actually, I said, yeah, there is loss of hope among the Sudanese youth, but we didn't lose hope. Yep.
You didn't lose hope.
We didn't lose hope because
Good.
Because there's one more thing is important for us. One more thing is important for us. It is we are belong as Sudanese youth. We see ourselves. We are belong to December, 2019 revolution. So this is inspire us as a Sudanese youth, because we see how the global, the world react with our revolution. So this is the first one. Give us hope as Sudanese youth to...
Just repeat that last point, just the last sentence, sorry. This mic is very low, so if you can just...
Yeah. So I'm saying...
That's it.
Okay. The one thing that is give us more hope daily, that's the Sudanese revolution, December 2019. Okay. This is make us see how the world reacts with our revolution, and as new generation for Sudan, we see this is our way to share with the world as Sudanese, to share with the world and to contribute to build the world.
You still see that idea from 2019 is the way forward for Sudan. You still hope that's possible.
Yeah, it's still this that's possible, and that's we are as Sudanese Youth Network. We are calling for peace, so ending the war and establishing transition democratic civilian lead in Sudan. This is the important for the all people who participate here. I know that there is different opinions about the Sudan war. And most of the world and most of the people that work in humanitarian field and most of the Sudanese people see that the Sudan crisis is forgotten crisis or forgotten crisis, as UNICEF say, as UNDP says. But when we see people from different world, from different background, sharing our problem, our Sudanese problem as a humanitarian problem, as a human problem, this is one thing that gives us hope to continue.
Good, good. So you've got strength from these past 2 days. That's very good to hear.
We need to learn. We need to learn. continue, we need to learn from different people, from different backgrounds, from different experience. That is to push more
Okay.
for peace
Yeah.
and to ceasefire for Sudan.
All right.
Yeah.
That is a conversation which has been going across the past couple of days, and I'm sure it will continue with the remaining coffee session after. Let's go back to you, Ali, either in English, because you do speak a little bit of English, I know, or Arabic if you like. But this whole conference has been talking about migration and the impact of that on young people. In terms of those who are displaced, what do you think policymakers that are here and elsewhere, what do they need to do to help young people who've been displaced?
Thank you. الشباب يعني إشاعة متخذ القرار يقدروا يساعدوا الشباب. أول حاجة المفروض يعرفوا إنه الشباب ما حاجة واحدة. أول حاجة الشباب اللي قاعدين في السودان، الشباب اللي في دارفور بيكون عندهم احتياجات مختلفة، الشباب في شرق السودان في الجزيرة في أي حتة بيكون عندهم احتياجات مختلفة. بعد ذاك برضو الشباب خارج السودان اللي هم هسي لاجئين أو مهاجرين برضو بيكون عندهم احتياجات وفق المنطقة اللي هم قاعدين فيها، سواء كان قاعدين في كامبالا أو في نيروبي أو في تشاد أو مصر أو أي حتة هم قاعدين فيها. عشان كده لازم متخذين القرار ينتبهوا لقصة التعدد والتنوع بتاع احتياجات الشباب.
Okay, he said those who are in the decision-making positions and policymakers, they have to get attention that needs and priorities for Sudanese youth are different. It depends on where they are currently. So if they are even in Sudan, they have different needs. Those who are in Kordofan have different needs and priorities from those who are in a Jazeera or in a Darfur. Sudanese youth outside Sudan also, they have different needs and priorities. Those who are in Kampala have different needs and priorities than those who are in Cairo or Nairobi. So this one point he mentioned that they have to get attention to the different needs and the diversity of youth.
Just briefly picking up on what Naguim said about connectivity inside Sudan, you know, the internet, access to the internet and education. Is that something that would help the people that are still in Sudan, the migrants who've been displaced, in terms of education for younger people, or would that be not useful at this stage? There are other priorities.
Okay. No, of course.
This was for Ali. Yeah, if you like, but if you could just tell
No,
us.
it's fine.
هو موضوع ما بس موضوع الانترنت، في موضوع التواصل بين الشباب وباقي العالم او الاجسام اللي ممكن تتعامل معهم. اصلا الشباب عندهم مشكله بتاعت اصوليه، بالذات الشباب اللي قاعدين في السودان ما عندهم اصوليه كبيره للاجسام والجهات اللي هي ممكن تدعم وتقدم لهم مساعده. بعد ممكن اشرح انه المساعدات اللي ممكن نكون محتاجينها الشباب شنو او الاحتياجات بتاعتهم.
So he said it's not only about connectivity and internet communication, but also youth in Sudan have accessibility challenges. So they face a lot of challenges and problems to reach out to the bodies and the institutions that should and can provide assistance to them.
Okay, thank you.
I want to thank our partner, UNHCR, who organized this with us, but also a supporter in Dunedin, without which this conference would really not be possible. I mean, the advantage is that I've externalized the recap, so I'm not going to do it. But I just want to stress that, I mean, it's no surprise how intense the discussions were, given the gravity of all of the issues that we've been discussing. And I think one thing is definitely clear. Well, a number of things are clear. It's that we need more cooperation and more support, and we have to continue to advocate to keep Sudan high on the agenda and in the news. And really appreciate everyone's candor and self-reflection, and I think we just need more of it, that this is not a one-off event, but that we have to keep this level of self-reflection up.